Good evening and welcome to the All Talk Paranormal Show. Tonight we have the lovely Richard Felix. He needs no introduction really, because we all know what a wonderful man he is and we know all about him, but tonight we're going to find out a little bit more about him, I hope. I'm just going to bring him straight on. Good evening, Seth.
Hello, how are we doing?
I'm good. How are you? See, I love talking. Whenever I speak to you, you're always so happy and upbeat.
I don't know why.
You always are.
Well, listen, what's the point? I'm not here, but what's the point being anything else? You know, be thankful, be grateful that we're still alive at the moment, to be honest with you. You know, all this doom and gloom, it's not going to get anybody anywhere, is it?
No, not at all. We were just talking about it, weren't we?
Weren't we just listening? Don't listen to the news because all it is bad news. You know, just tell us how many people have survived COVID for a change.
I know, it would be nice.
Life. Yeah, say again.
It would be nice to hear some positive
news. Yeah, but you know, I'm seriously thinking about starting a newspaper called it the Good Newspaper, which tells nothing but good news. I mean, wouldn't it? Wow! But nobody would buy it.
Do you know what? They probably would.
Because everybody wants to. You know, everybody wants to read bad news. We love it. Oh, you know, it's a big disaster. We're all there in front of the television buying the newspaper the next morning. But you know, what about the good? Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
No, but you are right though. It's true. We moan about it, but we still watch the news. We still buy the paper and everything else.
Yeah.
So yes, you know.
It is right. So I'm afraid bad news is, you know, and all the TV programs, you know, they just all these, whatever it is, whether it's one called Grand Designs, which I happen to watch sometimes.
I do like that.
I do. Escape to the Chateau, blah, blah. They're all the time. Oh, they've only got so many days to do this and they're running out of money and the mortgage hasn't come through for this. And it's, you know, for God's sake, tell us something good about it for a change.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound.
No, it doesn't. No, you're right. And I shout.
Actually, do you know what? I've said that.
Yeah.
And David West has just said bad news sells. And what if I literally just said to you that doesn't sell? And that's what his comment was.
And it's so true. It's right. A few years ago now, I was doing a book signing in Dudley, near Dudley Castle, actually, at W.H. Smith's. I was talking to the manager.
Just down the road from me.
Yeah, just like I'm talking to you now, chatting away to us about bad news. And I said, let's just go to your newspaper stand and go on. I said, now look, there's how many? 20 newspapers. I said, go on, find me a good news story on the front page. And we couldn't.
Wow.
Doom and gloom. Isn't it? Yeah. But that sells them. It's just, guys, it's the same with the ghosts. Let's get on to ghosts. It's the same with the ghost business. You know, they've got, it's all, you see, I'll be crucified soon because I'm going around telling everybody that ghosts are not there to get you. Well, hang on, that's no good for all these paranormal groups out there that are terror nights and fright nights and are you brave enough to come on one of our ghost events? And yeah, it's not, they're not there to get you. The profession of a ghost, if it had one, it wouldn't be to scare people. But it has to be scary because otherwise, come on, it's the same with all the ghost programs. They're all running around scared. They're all terrified, aren't they? Running around, you know. For God's sake, they're supposed to be ghost hunters. Why run away? You're fantastic. A ghost has thrown something. Yeah, okay. A ghost has thrown something. Wow, let's run away. But I thought you'd paid 45 quid to come here in case there was a ghost. Oh no, we've all got to leave the building. You know, do you want us to leave? Oh yeah, of course we do. No, guys, that's not what the ghosts are. Ghosts were you and me, and funnily enough, most you and me are very nice. Most people are nice. That means most ghosts are nice. I'm not saying there isn't evil, because as I say so often, don't think for 1 minute that Hitler's wandering around picking daffodils. Not at this time of year anyway, but he's not, because he's an evil person, and there is evil. But most ghosts are here. They're here for a reason, but they ain't here to get you.
No.
So that's the difference.
And also, what you got to remember is, and not you personally, but what we've got to remember is, whatever they were like in life, they'll be like in death. You don't
absolutely.
change.
No, absolutely.
Your
right.
personality doesn't change just because you've lost your body.
It's you, because you see this theory I've got at the moment, many, is I'm a great believer now in that the brain is nothing more than the hard drive, the memory source. That it's the control. That's the robot, if you like, that stores the everything, and it lets you do things. But your mind, that's the word, your mind, your personality, your ego, your soul, your spirit, call it what you want. I don't think it's there. I think it is there as well, but I think it's all over. And I think that when you die, that your mind, your energy, for want of a better word, leaves the body and goes somewhere that I don't know where, because I haven't been yet. But in other words, it goes to another dimension, another spiritual plane, another frequency, another time zone, or somewhere. But that's you. That your mind, wherever it is, you, and that's your personality, and it definitely goes with you. Of course it does, because that was you.
Yeah.
Physically, you is finished, but emotionally, mentally, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it, the mind, energy wise, that you goes on. And as you've just said quite rightly, or someone else just said, that energy that was you stays the same. And so if you're an evil person, then I'm sure you'll be evil when you go over, or just a nasty person with life or whatever, miserable old git, then you'll remain, I presume, a miserable old git. But most people are okay.
It's like Jess has just said.
Go on.
She's just said that, and there may be a nice person just full of anger when they pass.
Oh yeah, that's my theory, very much so, with witchcraft and the Pendle witches. All evil. But no, they weren't. They were number one. I don't know how long have we got, man. Number one. There's no such thing as witchcraft. It was labelled witchcraft because it was all to do with religion. And those Pendle witches were actually nothing more. It was Good Friday, and they were at a Catholic. What's the word I'm looking for? They were having a party, if you like, want of a better word, where they were. And of course, they were all Catholics, and they had to be stamped out because we were a Protestant country. So they were demonized. And it was changed from the craft of the wise, Wicca craft. The Wiccan was the wise one of the village, and they used to cling to the old faith because the message, the news hadn't come through, the bad news hadn't come through on the newspapers that we've changed to Protestantism. They remained Catholics, and so they had to be eradicated, get removed. Now, and they were tortured, and this is your grandma, don't forget, tortured, when I say tortured, to a certain extent, forced to admit that they had a familiar, and it was a jackdaw or a blackbird or a cat, and they were cavorting with the devil, and then they took them out and hanged them. Well, you're going to be a bit angry, aren't you? I would think. And that anger may well have stayed with them when they went on to the next plane or whatever it is. And so I'm a huge believer in yes, people could become angry. As I said earlier about a miserable old git, they probably weren't a miserable git when they were younger, but for whatever reason, there seems to be some prerequisite that a lot of old people seem to have to be angry about everything. Smile, love, you're still alive. Sort of thing. It's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is true. No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I always say you're a long time dead.
You are. That's what my dad, make the most of it.
That's what my dad used to always say. It's one thing I don't like. He's not been with us now for 7 years, and
yeah.
It's one thing I always remember that he used to always say all the time. You're a long time dead, and I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, "What do you mean?" And then, like as I got older, I realised, you know what? You're right. It's true. For God's sake,
make the most of it. Yeah. I read something the other week, if I can remember it right. Hang on a minute. Yep, you only die one day, but you live for however many hundreds of days, thousands of days before. Yeah. So make the most of every one of those. But we don't.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I totally live for today. For tomorrow you may die.
I shouldn't laugh. It's not a funny matter, but it's true. It is true.
Yeah. Make the most of it, guys.
Or whatever will be is something else he used to say. So all these things, now I'm getting older and I'm, in my late 30s now. So all these things.
Oh dear, as young as that, hey? As old as that? Oh, right.
So all these things now kind of resonate with me. Because when I was younger, I was, whatever. But now I'm getting older, I'm a bit older myself now. I'm like, actually, all those things that used to say we used to laugh at actually do make sense.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. That's very, very true, that is. Yeah. I don't know.
We've got quite a... Oh, and he lost it then. Question from Dan on watching from YouTube.
Oh, let's have a look. Yeah.
Hi, Richard. Do you think experts, scientists, and professors, etc., who already created the ability to summon a ghost but keep it secret, just in case the ability gets in the wrong hands, just like aliens?
Wow.
And then he goes on to say, like aliens, so it doesn't scare us, as kept secret, like in Area 51.
Oh. Well, wow. I mean, yes, of course it's a possibility. Because I'm a huge believer that aliens exist as well. Because one of my many sayings is, are we are we really so self-bigoted and self-centered as to believe that we are the only planet in the universe and beyond and beyond and beyond infinity that has got life on it? No way. But of course that's back to the church again, telling us the only inhabited planet, blah 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 blah. So yes, I think I am convinced that we've been visited by aliens, but again, how do we know that they're going to get us? It's just because we've seen too many too many
films.
Too much H.G. Wells and War of the Worlds. How do we know they're going to get us? They might just want to trade with us or something. We don't know. But of course, we'd zap them as soon as they came down because we're frightened of them. Same old story. But so I believe that has been kept a secret. I'm convinced of that aliens as such have landed, have been around, and the governments, and again, for fear of panic, because of Hollywood, because of the films and the stories and H.G. Wells and everything that has come out, that we would all be frightened. And so there is a great possibility as well that there might be, well, you see, number one, it's definitely been kept under wraps by the church. There's no doubt about that, because, as regards the church, there's no such thing as ghosts. And yet, as far as I'm concerned, we're singing from the same hymn sheet as they are, because we're talking about people that die and either stay around or come back for whatever reason. They come back or they stay behind because they've got unfinished business. They are talking of a guy who was executed, crucified, buried, and 3 days later, what? He came back. Well, it's the same thing. We're singing from the same hymn sheet, and yet they deny the whole damn thing, ghosts and all that nonsense. Any communication with the spirit world is condemned, and even according to most churches, especially, I mean spiritualists. People. They are. Some are thrown out of the church and told that they will, because of what they will go to hell. they will burn in hell. I've spoken to lots of spiritualists and been to spiritualist churches, and they are condemned by the conventional church. And yet, in my opinion, spiritualism, or certainly the paranormal, or whatever you want to call it, is the new religion. Because as the church dies, and it is, let's be honest, it is dying compared to what it was, people are still looking for an answer. They still want to believe that we go on to something else, which I am convinced that we do. And that is the paranormal stuff, It
is. Dan's got another question.
Yes.
He said he's got another question. He's also, I'll tell you this bit first. He says, I'm a big fan of Richard. I listen to him a lot. Thank you for having Richard on tonight. I'm asking questions now because I've got to go soon. I will watch the video later to hear his answers. So I'll ask his questions quickly before he goes. Bless him. He said, Richard, if a ghost can speak like what you heard on the Queen Mary many years ago, that time, that little girl, then surely ghosts can whistle as well.
Oh, because you see, I've often said, I've made comments about, look here, guys, it's very different. Because at the end of the day, a ghost hasn't got a voice box. And I make comments about whistling as well. I think that we're picking up. I think on you see, I'm not a huge believer in EVP. Now everyone will be shrieking at me and screaming at me because most EVPs that I've ever heard, what's that? So, oh God, it said get out. It said go. Come off it. So I don't know about it, but all I know is that I think it's highly likely that we can pick up a recording of something that happened before. Now, what I'm not sure about is what the voice that I didn't hear, of course, because I was fast asleep after the very large tumbler of whiskey that I'd had before I slept in that room. That was picked up on Kieran O'Keefe's laptop, and that's an energy machine that can record, and I'm not sure whether that voice that we got on Kieran's laptop was a little girl in the room that was calling for mummy, or if it was a recording that was in the room, because I'm a huge believer in this business that I believe 60% of ghosts are a recording held in the fabric of the building, whatever it happens to be. And I just wonder whether that was a recording that we heard. Also the same with the footsteps, whether the footsteps and then the voice of the little girl, I think it was a little girl, could be a recording, and of course could be picked up by a machine, because a recording is energy, and it's a possibility. So back to the business of that means that you see, I don't know how this whistling business seems to have come from Most Haunted, and I've heard I was there at the time when I've heard Yvette going, can you, and all of a sudden you hear her and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, fair enough. You see, I don't think ghosts can whistle. I'll be quite honest with you, but if a ghost can say "mummy" or something, then perhaps it can go. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. All I'm trying to do is trying to come up with a rational explanation for the whole damn thing. But I'm a long way from proving it. I'm afraid, a long way from proving it. I'm not sure.
Well, Dan's got another question for you. This would be interesting to know your take on this one.
Yes.
He says, "Oh, that's Jess." I'll ask Jess a question next. He said, "The moon landings. Do you think they were faked to win the space race?"
Whoa! Well, if they were faked to win the space race, all I would say is they won it. But why didn't they do more? Because if they've won, then the whole of the universe was open to America, and yet nobody really, because they haven't done anything, have they? They've done very little. We've not been back since, and we haven't landed anywhere else yet. I genuinely believe it was real. Yes, I'm convinced that. Why would you bother to fake something as huge and monumental as that? And again, it's back to your fake news and people people are making up ridiculous things now on YouTube about the COVID vaccines, and all that sort of. There's always somebody out there that wants.
There's always somebody and something.
Yes, yes, I think it was true, and I think they did it to win the space race, and I think they won the space race. But the funny thing is, they haven't done a lot since, have they?
Well, no, that's the thing.
I think they've probably run out of money. I don't know. It's a strange one. But
it's one of those who knows type of
very much so.
scenarios.
Yeah,
it's one of those things we'll never know.
They landed on the moon. I think they landed on the
moon. David's got a question for you.
Yes.
He said, Richard, what has been your most memorable moment of the paranormal so far?
Well, it's got how many times I went, yep, it's got to be seeing a ghost, hasn't it? At the end of the day, there is. For any ghost hunter or anybody, no, anybody, to be honest, because everybody's fascinated by the ghost business, always have been, young, old, male, female, it doesn't matter who, foreign, European, anybody, we're fascinated by the ghost business. And to see a full-blown apparition in front of you, gliding past you for at least 4 seconds until it it didn't vaporize it. It just happened. I just lost it because it had disappeared by where there was a big pillar when I was in the jail in the kitchen of Derby Jail, and I saw it and I sensed it, and it looked. See, here's the best bit. It looked like a ghost. It looked as if it looked like Casper. Well, a bit. I mean, it looked as if it was the shape of a person that had got a sheet over their head. I mean, it really genuinely did. And it was a grey haze. I've said it was, grey lady, grey this, grey that. It was it was so grey, but it wasn't see-through, but it was a mist. So it was a solid mist that I couldn't see through it. And I saw it for, not out the corner of my eye, none of that sort of stuff at all. Full on. Stood there looking through this cutout window in Derby Jail. No glasses, just a cutout window. And I'm the guy that ticks the normal boxes. And this is 15, 18 years ago since I saw it now. And I've explored, I've tried every normal box I can think of to disprove it. And I can't. And so that has to be the most fantastic experience that I've ever had in the ghost business, to actually see something, seeing them, hearing them, sensing them, feeling them, smelling, that's fine, but to actually see it and sense it as well, that's the other thing, because it had got something about it, had got a presence, it had got an energy. I could sense it was there, and guess what, it didn't get me. It just went past. I don't even know whether it knew I was there.
That's the thing, isn't it? Well,
that's got to be the best.
Well, that half answers Jess's question as well.
Yeah.
So she said, how did you come about Derby Jail? How did you come about?
Oh, Derby Jail. Oh, right. Okay. Well, it was a nightclub. It's a proper jail. Went back to 1756. It was the county jail. And I used to do ghost walks, started ghost walks 30 years ago now, this January. And I used to take people into Derby Jail when it was a nightclub. They'd let me. I used to have to pay them to take people in, and then most people would buy a drink when they were in there, and I'd take them round, show them what it was, which it didn't look particularly impressive because it was all plastered and painted, and it didn't look anything like it does now. And then I found out that they rang me up actually, because all the doors are original, full of graffiti all over them. And got witch marks.
Yeah, because you showed us when you did your walk around for the festival, didn't you?
That's right. Well, it didn't look like that when I took it over, or when I used to go in. And they rang me up and said, "Would you like to buy the doors?" And I said, "You can't. Why do you want? You can't sell the doors. It's grade 2 listed. Well, we're going bankrupt, and we've got a dealer in Birmingham that'll buy the doors off us for £100 each. But I'm offering them you first." So anyway, I rang up the authorities and I had the building sealed. And that was the end of that. And then basically, being a very seedy nightclub, the bouncers that used to be around the town on Fridays and Saturday nights, they all used to drink in there very, very late. They'd still be there at sort of 5 a.m. And they were going to take it over and turn it into a strip club. And I said, this cannot happen to such an incredible piece of not just Derby history, but national British history. It has to be preserved. So I jumped in and took it over, and spent 18 months and a lot of money turning it back to what it is now. Finding some of the doors that weren't there, putting them back, bricking up the doorways that were. Sorry, not the bricking up the archways that had been knocked out, and did a lot of jobs. So really, that's how it happened. It was going to be turned into a strip club, and I thought, no, this can't happen. This has to play a part in our history, which it now big time, really does.
Yeah. Well, Nikki says that she visited Derby Jail a year ago today. Oh, how mad is that? Wow. A year ago today, when she visited, she said on her way down to Drakelow, she said she loved the place and the guy who worked there was amazing. Could have chatted to him all day.
I wonder who it was. It could have been me, but highly unlikely if it was. Was it in the daytime?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, probably a guy with a beard that actually was there. He was our curator. He ran the police museum that was in there at the time as well, I think. No, it's a fascinating place. It really is. Absolutely fascinating.
Haunted Scout, which is Chris, it says, "Hi Richard, always great listening to you. Would you ever take part in another ghost hunt type series if the offer came to you?"
Oh, well, that's a very good. It depends on. Well, I mean, I resigned from Most Haunted, because what? Because the credibility was in my opinion was oozing away fast, and so again, if I was offered, I mean, I'll be honest with you, if I'd stayed with it, I'd probably have gone down with it, as most of them have, unfortunately. That's my view on it anyway. And I was I was the voice of reason. I'm credible, and I tick the normal boxes before I even remotely consider the small possibility that it could be paranormal, whatever that means. So it depends on the program, because I turned down, being paid handsomely to do that, and again, to be offered a part in another ghost program that TV pays very well for, you'd be tempted to do it. I think it depends on the pro. See, I would like to do. Always been on about this for years, to do my own TV program, but the problem I've got is that TV producers, directors, and TV companies probably wouldn't want what I do because it wouldn't necessarily be scary. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But in my opinion,
you got the reality factor. That's basically that will basically be your issue.
Yes.
When it comes to production.
Right. Prime example on Most Haunted. Right. So there we are, down in the cellar or wherever it happens to be. A door slams shut. Bang! Oh my God! Everybody screams. Yvette screams. I jump. I run because would you believe? You all know I'm frightened of ghosts. Why? Because I'm trying to tell everybody that they're not there to get you, but I've always been frightened of ghosts. So we have and you're at home, sat there with having your Most Haunted party, as people did. Got the lagers out, and the pizzas came round, and the neighbours came round because they hadn't got Sky, and the candles were lit, and everybody was too frightened to go to bed after it. Great, absolutely fantastic. Everybody jumped off the sofa when the door slammed shut and Yvette screamed. Oh boy, fantastic. All I wanted to do then, because basically, according to Most Haunted, that was a scary ghost. Because they're all scary, right? They're all going to get us. We're all frightened of them, yeah? So that was a scary ghost that slammed the door shut. Well, all I wanted to do was to be allowed to go away and check and see if it's if someone's left a window open. because it's a windy
night.
night.
If it was a draft or something that caused it to happen.
That could have been it. And then have a look behind the door and make sure no one's hiding behind the door. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So we've done that. We've eliminated that. We've ticked the normal boxes, and we've still got a box without a tick in it because it wasn't a windy night. There wasn't anybody behind it. It's not on a piece of wire or fishing wire or anything else. Nobody pulled it shut. We really can't explain why that door slammed shut itself. Let's start to investigate. But that never happened. It was always a scary ghost that slammed the door shut.
Obviously.
And that's yeah, because that's what we want. Because that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
We all
I know,
but
we've got ourselves to blame for it, really, because obviously
I'm afraid
we were being given what we were asking for. Helen's come on. So my lovely friend Richard, Helen Lawson, this is.
Hello, Helen.
So my lovely friend Richard, tell us about the amazing Molly Lee's grave.
Oh gosh, Molly Lee. Well, Molly allegedly was a witch in oh God Almighty, Staffordshire. Can't remember the name. And she, I can't. Helen, you should tell them because I can't remember all of the story. I tell you, the problem is there's so much up here, guys. Nobody realizes. You know, see, I can't get down to PC World and get a bit more memory. Like you do with a computer, and this up here is absolutely reached saturation point, I think. And so things that have happened, places I've been, things that I've done, it's terrible. This is because
we'll have to get Helen to her. We'll have to get Helen to come on, and
you need to get Helen to come on. She's incredible. She's fabulous.
Well, Helen has her own show, Heavenly Helen Hour, on a Tuesday night.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe we should get her on and have a chat with her. Right.
Get her on
we will. We'll save that for Helen.
About Molly, because it's a very, very good, incredible story. But I've visited her grave. And I visited the pub where she is reputed to haunt. But as regards telling the story, God forbid, I can't remember enough of it to tell it. Because again, I'm telling so many stories all the time. It's quite amazing this because I do a TV program called Forbidden History. I've been doing it now for about 4 years. It's on the Yesterday channel, just doing a new series now. And you know, once I spent 5 hours in London in a studio, it's like an exam, answering all questions about the Ark of the Covenant and the Egyptians and all the stuff. Now, I had so much to research because I knew nothing about the Ark of the Covenant at all. And here's me having to come on Forbidden History TV program, right? And talk about it. And, you know, it was 5 hours of questions. Richard, tell us what you really think the Ark of the Covenant is. Richard, tell us what the Ark of the Covenant was made of. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Now, do you know what? If you were to sit me down, I went down there in November to do it. If you were to ask me now questions about the Ark of the Covenant, I could answer very few. Because it's gone. It's not.
But we only store what we need, don't we? That's the thing.
That's very true, actually. That's very true.
Yeah, I think our mind gets rid of it. It thinks, oh wow, we're not going to need that again, so we get rid of that.
That's
ready for more stuff. You know, free up storage for some more information.
Yeah, you're right. But do you know what? But obviously, anything that I don't, you know, actually, even with ghost walks in Derby, because obviously I've been doing it for 30 years, and I do 4 different ones. But there are actually, I have to say, even there, because obviously I've got. I don't do scripts, but obviously I've got set pieces in certain places as I tell.
Yeah, but that's different,
and they are.
It?
Yeah, and they are similar. They're never the same, but they're always similar because the facts are there, obviously. But I'll be going round or we stop at the pub on the way and people are there and somebody will tell me a new story or whatever. And, you know, by the time I've got home the next day, I probably won't even remember that story that person's told me.
Because, yeah, I'm a bit like that.
Isn't it strange? And, years, sometimes months later, like, oh, my God, I've just remembered that incredible story that person told me, blah, blah, blah. And then I think, right, can I remember it all? No. Run in there. So apologies, Helen. I can't tell the story.
Nikki says, yes, that's right. That was the correct gentleman, the one with the beard that you were talking about.
Oh, right.
So that's who it was, she said. So he was lovely. Haunted Scout said, if we ever get big enough, mate, you can come along with us. Happy to check for open windows before jumping to ghost slams door scenario. Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Oh, Dennis says, best you just do it as a series on YouTube or even reach out to Amazon Prime, see if they'd be up for your own show.
Yeah, that's possibly the way. I am seriously at this moment working with a fantastic guy down in Devon, we're working on virtual events, and obviously we can do very little at the moment. Funnily enough, I am doing a virtual ghost hunt at Derby Gaol, which we'll be charging for. I think it's going to be a tenner per ticket. You like Zoom or webinar or that sort of stuff, and doing an event, a proper, but it'll only be me, of course, which is slightly difficult because you can't have people doing table tilting or Ouija boards or glass divination or anything like that, because it'll just be me. But I am seriously thinking about doing a series of virtual events in haunted locations. Real investigations, of course, using very different unconventional equipment that we've got, and some old-fashioned equipment as well, in the very near future. That might work. That might actually work to such an extent that it may take off on YouTube, because the only way, as you've just said, is to do my own thing, because I don't think TV companies are interested, but they are wrong, because I'm telling you now, all of you out there, everybody now is, because of Most Haunted, it's created more argument, more debate, more discussion, and more research than any ghost program ever has. It became an absolute phenomenon. There's no doubt about it. And all the other programs that have come along since have all based themselves on Most Haunted. There's no doubt about that. Even all the American ones and everybody, they've all based themselves on Most Haunted. So there is room for something. There's no doubt about it. But what I'm saying is that everyone now is absolutely fascinated by it, but people would like to know the truth. In other words, what I'm saying is reality behind ghosts is actually more fascinating than the Scooby-Doo side of it.
See, there you go. I'm sold. When you starting filming?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. That's the only way. Gonna have to do it. March the 8th.
You heard it here first. That's it. I'm going to write that down. Typing it in.
That's the day that they said they might release. That's the day they say they might release some of the restrictions. That's all.
No, you've said it now. I'm going to.
That's it now. Okay, fair enough.
That's it. You got to stick to it.
All right.
Girl says, I think a crew of about 20 people was the issue with Most Haunted too. How can you claim paranormal when more people in the building than there are on a night bus home from town? Impossible to count for everyone.
Well, it's so true. It's so
I know, but I love the way he says that. More people than a night bus home.
I love it, but it's so right. Because again, you see, I believe that an investigator should go alone in the building. And there was a very good, nearest thing I've seen to reality, a New Zealand company, TV company, Ghost Hunter. I can't remember what it was called. And they have, and of course, guess what they had? Head cams. For God's sake, we don't want to see up people's noses all the time. We want someone that want them holding a camera, but they also need to have a head cam or a body cam. So if they see it, there's every possibility that Joe Public out there may see it as well. And that is something that was, again, so wrong. Should have been done years ago. But they did have them. And I think it's something. I mean, I'll tell you what, a quick one. most haunted. Tell you what it was Mitchell and Priory. It was the 100th programme. Funnily enough, it was the programme I resigned on at the end of it. And there was me, Kieran, and I think John Dibley, Caramel. I think John was there. And the three of us were down below in the hallway, looking around, doing a night vigil. And I swear that I saw a shadowy figure going along the landing up the stairs, and I, by the time I'd sort of said, "Look, oh God, look here, guys," whatever it was gone, and I made this comment, and I said, "God, if only my eyes were cameras." And that sums it up, doesn't it? So if I'd had a head cam on,
you might have picked it up.
I might have caught it. Yeah. So that's. But I believe that being alone is as good, because most people that see ghosts are alone. Not all, but a lot of people that see ghosts or hear them, sense them, whatever it is, are often alone. See it, only they see it. So there's no point, so it's all very well having you and a cameraman filming you and a sound man hanging. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, guys.
It's not the same, is it? No, Helen said, we love Richard and loved our psychic and science evening in Stoke-on-Trent. Oh, well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, he said, me and Derek, I think that one was just me doing psychic and science, I think, but I'm not sure, because me and Derek used to do this show called Psychic and Science, which was a 3-hour show, stage show. We did it all over the country. It was incredible. Really was something special. And I know for a fact that Derek was, what's the word I'm looking for? Running down a bit. He was not wanting to do so much stuff. In fact, I believe, had God bless him, if he'd still been around, I'm pretty sure that Derek would have retired. And so he decided he wanted to stop doing them. I bet we've done 20 shows, something like around the country. And I actually started doing it myself, just me. But it was tremendous, because basically Derek used to get the first 20 minutes of his, like he does on his shows. I'm getting your mum, I'm getting your dad, I'm getting so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. And it was one of the things that I know nobody's mentioned this or asked it certainly tonight about Derek's ability. But it was quite amazing, because Derek supposedly had to have 20 minutes. And I always, because I used to go away and for that time and actually go in the dressing room out the way, because I used to, oh God, just supposing nothing happens, just supposing you can't get anybody through. Oh my God. Well, so I'd sit there, out the way, and 20 minutes are up, and by rights, that's it. Derek should be off. But he never was. He'd be always, we'd need a cattle prod to get him off. Because he'd be saying, no, Rich, no, I must go to this lady here. I must just one more.
Now,
my view on that whole
guilty. I've done that myself. I'm guilty of that. Just one more.
Yeah, but if you're a fake and you're faking it, surely, oh God, I've got through my 20 minutes. Thank God. Right, get me off. No, far from it. See where I'm coming from?
No, I saw him work on 3. I interviewed Gwen as part of the last festival, which was absolutely fantastic to actually talk to her and ask the questions that you can't normally ask.
Yes.
And that was lovely. But I've actually seen him work on 3 different occasions. Yeah. And myself being a medium, to see another medium work, I was just wow.
Yeah. He was the master, wasn't he? He was the master.
I didn't even care if I didn't get it. I didn't go for a reading. I went just to watch him work. I wasn't even bothered if I got anything or not. We did. Myself and family members at work, we did. Yeah. The last time we went to see him.
Yeah.
And I'll always forever be grateful for that. It meant a lot. But it wasn't really. It was one of those. I wasn't bothered whether I did or whether I didn't. I just wanted to go and see him work because I enjoyed watching him work, and I do that sometimes. with Colin Fry, the same.
Yeah.
Just wanted to go and watch him work. Wasn't really bothered. I went and watched him work more than once. Yeah. Didn't get anything, and yet again didn't leave disappointed because I had a great evening, and I enjoyed watching him work in the way he did. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's to be that fortunate to have been able to go and see two fantastic men like themselves go and work on different occasions.
Yeah.
You know, now is something you forever treasure it anyway, but now they're no longer with us, you'll treasure it even more.
Even more, absolutely. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. But yeah, we had a great time. We did. It's a shame. Miss him terribly.
Like I said, it must be awful for you, you know, being a friend. And I bet you get lots of questions whenever you get interviewed and so on. Oh, everybody wants to know, don't they?
Yes, of course. Yes, yeah. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. He was the most famous medium in the world.
Everyone seemed to know who he was.
Yeah, exactly.
They still do.
They do. They do indeed. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No doubt about that.
Yeah, very true. Gary's got a comment. He said, enjoy Vernon Gate in Derby and some other amazing buildings, old pub so close to Derby Jail.
Oh yeah, well this is on the. You see, we do a Derby Jail ghost walk. Well, we used to do a Derby Jail ghost walk. We'll be back. It'll be back, don't we? Which is a 3-hour walk, starting at Derby Jail and then going to the other jail because I've got two jails. You see, I've got Derby Jail 1756, which is the famous one, but I've also got the one that they built afterwards, which they built in 1828, which is Vernon Gate Prison, and there I've got the haunted drop room. That's the execution room where they've stepped out onto the gallows, and also a very haunted tower, the Martello Tower, which is extremely haunted. And so we include that on the ghost walk, but also because you see my ghost walks are different. They're 3 hours, a couple of haunted pubs on the way round, and then a candlelit supper at the end of it. But we take you in places. That's the difference. You know, I don't like standing outside and talking about it. I like to be able to go in and take you to the attic where the murder took
that's
place.
it. Get us books. We're all coming up.
Yeah, that's the way forward. That's the way I always done it 30 years. But you go in. We also, I have to say this, I'm sorry, I have jumper outers. We scare you shitless as well on the way around.
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
It's a good night out, basically. That's the thing. Yeah, people.
It sounds good to me.
It's good night. Good night.
We have to find out when all things are lifted and whatever, and you're able to go out again. That's it. Team Keep will be on our way up.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that by the middle end of March, we might be in a position to get back to doing some ghost walks. I hope, and night vigils in the jail. But all depends, doesn't it? All depends on COVID.
Does, yeah. It's all about this blooming COVID. Gary was agreeing with us. He says true legends, Colin and Derek. And Chris says Derek was good. No, a great, honest Scouser. We were all very proud of him in our city.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. So what have you got coming up? Obviously, you can't go out and do anything, but you've been doing your lives, haven't you?
Right, yes, I do. I'm trying to keep everybody entertained, basically. It gives me something to do as well. So, on a Tuesday night, I do History's Juicy Bits, which is horrible histories, you know, everything from executions, torture, battles.
But they're the interesting ones, aren't they? The horrible bits like we said about... Yeah, like we just said about bad news, horrible history.
Same
thing. Want to know about.
Yeah, we're not interested in the Industrial Revolution and the repeal of the corn laws. We want to know about how the Zulus disemboweled every soldier on the battlefield after they killed them or not killed them. And we want to know how long it takes people to die at the end of a rope and and all that. So that's I'm afraid we all do that, and that's part of our makeup, isn't it? So I do my Juicy Bits on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock, and then on Thursday nights it's Ghosties. We just talk about ghosts and various subjects. I pick a subject and I tell people talk about it for an hour. They go extremely well, to say the least. I'm planning on doing this virtual tour of Derby, not just a tour, virtual tour and ghost hunt at Derby Gaol using various equipment that we've created, including a machine that changes the frequency in your brain, which I think might be a reason why people see ghosts. In other words, if you've had an argument with the missus, or your football club has beaten the rivals 5-0, you are so excited that the frequencies change and your receiver picks up things that it didn't pick up before. Change of frequency, same as the radio. Possible. So we've got that. We've also got my stone tape projector, which we plug into the wall with silica smoke and try and get images to come out the wall, because, as you know, I believe that 60% of ghosts are a recording. All that sort of stuff, dousing crystals, demonstrations of that sort of thing, and hopefully talking to spirit. But obviously it'll just be me. But I've got some rather interesting equipment that you can do just on your own, without having a group of people around. Because, putting your hand on a table on your own and saying, will you move the table? I've never, ever seen it work on with one person, ever. I've never seen a glass move with one person putting the finger on it. I've never seen a Ouija board work with one person. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that's in my experience. So I won't be doing that, because in my opinion, I know it won't work. But there's other things that could be quite an exciting. The other thing I'm doing, we're starting doing webinars. I don't lecture, by the way. I do talks. They're presentations on various subjects that are very dear to me. Like mainly, one's going to be called "What is a Ghost?" Supernatural or science. Another one's the Charge of the Light Brigade. Another one's execution, butchery, and torture. And I'm going to be doing
all things we're interested in.
All the stuff we love it, yeah. And I'm going to be doing webinars, sort of, charging, but for people like to come onto Zoom and do a lecture. But of course, we've got it to a stage where we can now add pictures to it, but not only pictures, but we can add video to which will be really, hopefully, I'm dead excited about that. That's coming in the next few weeks while we're on lockdown. I'm going to be doing 2 a week. Because some people might not want to listen to a lecture on Mary, Queen of Scots, but someone else might want to listen to a lecture on the Charge of the Light Brigade or What is a Ghost. So I've got about 8 different subjects that I'm going to be doing. So that's coming up in the near future. Hopefully Derby Gaol will be open soon, so we can start doing that again. I've written 2 books, obviously, while we've been on lockdown. I've rewritten What is a Ghost, and I now call it What is a Ghost? Supernatural or Science. On sale at only $12.99. That's a copy of the
I was going to say, if you've got a copy to show us.
Yeah, but of course, here's the best bit. On the front of it, because obviously we didn't know then, on the front of it, it says, forward by Derek Acora, probably the most famous medium in the world. Because he wrote the forward for me, you see. And so that, and then I've done another one that I think I mentioned it, called The People's Ghost Stories, which is your stories. You, Joe Public out there, that have written it, emailed, texted, and given us your ghost story, which we've put into a book, because it's, to me, the best proof on the planet that ghosts exist, because these are accounts, not stories, of people that have seen, heard, sensed, felt, whatever it happened to be, some form of ghost over in their lifetime. And so they're not made up stories. They're not stories written by a ghost hunter or a famous author that writes ghost stories. These are actual accounts. And the fascinating thing about the book is that when you read some of the accounts, some of them are so similar. So this is a lady in Scotland, in Edinburgh, that saw something at the foot of the bed 20 years ago. There's another account in there from a fella of 65 who, when he was a 5-year-old child in Brighton, saw something stood at the foot of his bed. You know what I mean? You'd think they've met each other, and they haven't.
Wow.
Because their accounts are similar. And to me, it is the best proof on the planet that ghosts exist. Joe Public's accounts.
Then he says, where can we get the books from? Did you say, he missed where you said, did you say Amazon?
Right, well, they're available, they're both available on Amazon, and they're also available from me, signed, of course, at richardfelix.co.uk. That's my website. richardfelix.co.uk. And also, of course, there's a huge selection of DVDs. You know, I've done 40.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, and don't forget to tell people about your DVDs, because I know we've discussed them before.
They're going mad because, you see, we were stopping. I was stopping doing selling DVDs because, as far as I was concerned, they're you know, nobody watches DVDs anymore. It's all down to downloads, you know, but it isn't. They've really taken off big time. We've had to buy some new machinery because we make them ourselves, and we've had to buy some new machinery to keep up with the demand. Because I suppose there's nothing on the telly, and people, you know, they're buying them like mad. Because I've done.
What was I watching? We were watching some of your shows. I can't remember what we were watching. Whether they were. I think they were on YouTube, and these, it shows how old they were. But I think these were actually out when it was video, not DVD.
They were.
These were video episodes.
They were. That's absolutely right.
They were the video episodes we were watching on YouTube.
18 years old.
But they really?
Oh yeah, some of them. Yeah.
And you can tell because you know the way the screen is with the video.
Of course you can. And the way I am.
The way you are.
Yeah.
Richard, you don't really change.
Well, a bit. But there's a few more wrinkles now. But yeah, and they're going mad. People are buying them like mad. We can't hardly keep up with them. I'm thrilled to bits. And you know, as I say, what we did, we set up a new company called Felix. For downloading them, but people want DVD, and I know what it is. People still want to own it.
Yeah.
It's the same with vinyl, because you see, I was a record dealer for 30 years, and I now know what people, you know, what it's all about. It's not the same to download the song as it is to own the single, the 7-inch
to have
single.
a copy in your hand. It is literally. It's the same as I can't imagine reading a book.
Nope.
Online, on you know, on a Kindle or something.
No, me too.
I like to have the book in my hand.
You need the cover. You need the cover. You need to read at the back of it. Yeah, it's not the same, is it? Not at all. DVDs also available from richardfelix.co.uk, and there's actually one that we've. I don't know why did it 10 years ago. And it was the first of a series, and we never again. I think it was because we were of the opinion that the DVD business was dying. And I did. It's called Ghost Cars, and it's a haunted, very haunted, old 1970s Ford Capri, and its number plate. Number plate is ARK 666. Ark 666, Ark of the Covenant, of course, what I'm talking about in this program, and the number of the beast. And I'll tell you, it's as haunted as hell. And we went down and filmed it, and I drove it, up to Beachy Head, where cars go over the cliff, you know. And we parked it on the on the edge of Beachy Head, and I had a guy with a Ford with a Shogun 4-wheel drive. And it was chained to it just in case. And I spent the night in it on the edge of Beachy Head, waiting for it to go over the edge of the cliff. Didn't happen.
Oh my goodness!
Didn't happen. But the amazing.
Good. Glad it didn't.
Yeah, so am I actually. But yeah, I got the door open most of the time just in case, because it's fascinating. And it's called Ghost Cars. And we were going to do a series of haunted, cursed cars, and I still might, but I've only done this one. But we never brought it out properly. So we're going to be advertising that as well. So yeah, there's plenty going on. And I'm also working. Oh God, I'll never finish this. I've been doing this for 5 years now. Ghosts of Greater Manchester book. But I keep going back to it and then stopping and thinking. You know, at the moment I thought stop completely because there's no point in doing it because I obviously to sell it I need to do book signings, which of course I can't do. But you see, so many of the most haunteds were from around Greater Manchester because A, it's a big area, and B, that's where they lived. So there's a lot of really good stories in that. If I ever finish it, but I will. If I live long enough.
Well, you're going to have to, as I like to say to people, crack on and get it
Yeah. Well, that's right. There's plenty of time at the moment.
Well, yeah, so you've got time on your hands. We've got all these fantastic ideas for you.
Yeah.
We've got all these other things we're telling you to do.
I know. Get on with it.
And you've got your book as well.
Yeah, stop watching Netflix.
Yeah, stop watching. That's what you said to me. You said before we started. That was the conversation we had, wasn't it?
That was right.
Before we came live on air. You said, "Well, I've got plenty of time. I've only got Netflix waiting for me," and I think exactly the same.
That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So you just stop watching Netflix and do a bit more writing.
I will. I'll do that. Yeah.
Oh dear, bless you. So we can now. I've got your website on there. Anybody wants a signed copy?
Yep.
Of any of your books? Because what have you got? About over? Is it over 40 books? You've got a crazy amount of books. How many have you got?
13 books. Oh,
13 books.
What is a ghost? What is a ghost? Supernatural or science? God, then obviously the people's ghost stories, and then ghosts of Lincolnshire, ghosts of Nottinghamshire, ghosts of Derbyshire. Oh God, ghosts of West Midlands, ghosts of ghosts of Merseyside, ghosts of Scotland, ghosts of Wales. Oh, few, about 12, about 13, I think at the moment. And then, waiting now for ghosts of
14 when you finish this other one.
Yeah,
it's been 5 years in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear. And then I've got a few more
to write. And,
of course, the big one that I need my arse kicking for not doing this, of course, is Derby Jail, the book on Derby Jail. Because that would be, that's a big story. Because you see, it would include all 5 Derby jails that we had. But obviously, the emphasis would be on the main one, mine, But that would be a story. That would be incredible.
That'd probably be a book in itself.
It would indeed. Yeah, the whole thing would be a big book. That would be, because that would that would sell around the world. Because I mean, Derby Jail is famous. There's no doubt about it. It's one of the to-do places now for paranormal investigators.
It's on our list.
Yeah,
I told you this last time. It's on the list, but then we landed back in. I said to you, "Oh, Richard, I'll be in contact." Last time we spoke, I think it was back in October.
Yes, that's right.
And then we've gone back into lockdown again, so I still will be in contact. Just don't know when.
It's all been ruined, hasn't it?
I know.
We'll get back there. We'll be all right soon.
We'll get there. It's on the list. I will come and visit you at some point.
Can't wait.
Haunted Scale says some great location with the most haunted legacy is that they now charge between £5,000 and £1,000 to go somewhere.
You're kidding.
Because it was on an episode. That's the problem. A lot of locations that are on the TV shows, once they've been on, that's it. They go from there to there in costings.
Yes, that's
the unfortunate side.
Yeah, that's so true, actually. It's a shame, isn't it? But and it makes it almost impossible for apart from commercial groups that are charging, money for people to come on it. It makes it very difficult for amateur investigators to actually come along and do it.
Yeah, that's what we do. The team shares. We try to get around it that way.
Yeah.
So we can all get in there.
Yes, exactly.
David wants to know before we go. David wants to know any book regarding Somerset on the list. Richard, that's where they live. That's why they want to know.
Well, I've done Ghosts of Somerset. I've done a DVD, Ghosts of Somerset and Bristol.
So, Jess has put Ghosts of Somerset, so she's written it down.
Yeah, I've done that. richardfelix.co.uk. You can order it.
See, there you go.
Go on. Yeah.
So when they order their book, they order their signed book, because they want a signed book from you, so they can order their signed book and they can order a DVD at the same time.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed you can. Yeah, it's very easy to do. Yeah. Just go to shop.
Yeah, the website's on the screen.
Yeah, go to shop.
I'll do your upselling, Richard. So if you're going to have a book, you might as well have a DVD as well.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Good girl. Keep up the good work. I'll get you on commission.
That's why I work for Haunted Magazine, look.
There you are. Yeah.
Well, I want to say, we've been chatting for over an hour already.
Oh, I tell you, wind me up and let me go. God almighty, it's 10 past already. Yeah.
I know. That's all right. No, it's been lovely. I always I've enjoyed talking to you. It's been good. And so tomorrow night, what time's your show? What time's your live tomorrow?
6 o'clock. Ghosties tomorrow night. 6
o'clock.
No, it's not.
There we go.
What day is it? It's Thursday.
Thursday tomorrow.
Ghosties. Tomorrow night it's ghosts on photographs of ghosts. Pictures of ghosts are the such thing. Can you take a photograph of a ghost or not?
Oh, nice try, Chris. It's not happening. He said Derby Jail higher discount for friend of Keep On Chatting Network. No.
Well, I'll tell you what I am doing at the moment. Well, I'm not. I've stopped. Can't do anything at the moment, obviously. But up until when we had the lockdown that let us still do things, we were charging £100 for 1 or 2 people to spend the whole night in Derby Jail.
Well, there you go.
We could do that. You could do that. You see, 2 people turn up, or 1 person just turns up. We open the door, let them in, and leave them in overnight. Leave them. Yeah, leave them in, and if they leave in the morning, pull the door to when you go. But that's hopefully if at the moment, obviously nobody can travel to do that.
No.
But as soon as we get hopefully into a lower tier, that will happen straight away. You know, opening it up to people who want to come and spend a full night in Derby Jail.
Oh well, David says.
But hang on, why shouldn't they dare? Because the ghosts aren't there to get them.
Go on. David said he's in, and Jess says, yes, please lock me in.
Yeah, it's there. It's available, or will be.
There you go. And Chris from Haunted Scout, he said the same. We're there, only 2 of us. So that's it. He'll be in contact too.
Great. Awesome.
Oh, they all do. They're all. That's it. They're all commented now. They all want to come.
All right.
It's brilliant. Well, that's great.
It can be any night of the week. Any night. Monday night, Sunday night, Saturday night, Friday night, Thursday night. It doesn't matter at the moment as things are.
Fantastic. Well, we've got lots of people interested. So, guys, just to say again, tomorrow is Richard's show. So go on. Yeah, and that is on your. That's on your page.
Facebook, Facebook Live. Yeah.
And that's on your Facebook page. And his books, DVDs, get yourself over to www.richardfelix.co.uk. The link is in the comments, so you've got no excuse. Get your DVDs, get your books. Let's Oh, Dan's back. He's just reappeared.
Wow.
We're at. He's just come back. We're asking him.
Sorry, Dan. We're going.
We're going now, Dan. But we're asking you a question quickly. He said, Richard, do you believe in time portals and that we can go back accidentally in time?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that'd be interesting.
I do. A time zone. Yeah, absolutely. Because the time slips. Famous one in Rodney Street, in Liverpool. Famous one at the Tuileries in Paris. Famous one in Dieppe. Where ladies heard the battle being refought. Yes, time slips. You know, is that where we go? Do we go to another time zone? But I don't think. I might be wrong. I don't think we can go forward. I think we can only go back. But again, who knows?
See, that's another interesting concept, isn't it? It's one of those. Yeah. It is the unknown. We don't know,
isn't it? Yeah, you see, I will let you go. I mean, the thoughts.
It's all right.
The thoughts of going forward in time. All you've got to think about is, I need to be in London in 2 hours' time. If I put my foot down more in my car, I could be in London in an hour and a half's time. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, although I'm not supposed to be there till 2 o'clock. I could by speeding up, be there at 1:30. I don't know. That's just something to think about. Perhaps that's nonsense. But,
no, it makes sense. See, I'm into. Well, we're talking about time. If you've got time at the moment, Oh, I've got a question for you because I haven't actually asked you any questions that I actually had, but that's fine. Because everybody else has been busy. That's great. Everyone's interacting. It's an interactive show. That's the whole point. So everybody gets their chance to ask their questions. What is your opinion when we talk about time and think? What's your opinion on past life regression?
Again,
and past lives.
Yeah, I believe in it. I don't believe in the Hindu type of where they believe that you can come back as a toad or a worm or a badger or whatever. And I also don't believe in their sort of theory. I think where you're talking about a production line where you're going to dead person soul, newborn baby, dead person soul goes into a newborn baby, dead person soul, newborn baby. I don't believe in any of that, but I do believe that we may well go to a different level, another spiritual level, where we have to almost pass a certain test before we get there. A little bit like passing your driving test. So in other words, if you haven't passed your driving test, you have to come back and sit another test. Yeah. And I think there's a possibility that the same thing applies in the spirit world, that if you're for whatever reason not ready to go, as is proved sometimes with people that have been sent back, they've gone down seen a light down a tunnel or a tube or whatever it is, and they're actually sent back. There's a possibility that might happen. So that means that there are some people that have a lot of past lives because they've not passed the test. Some people take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times to pass the driving test, whereas someone else passes first time. And I just wonder if that's a possibility why some people don't have past lives at all because they've moved to the next level. But there are other people that do have past lives because they've actually had to come back and resit for the next level, possibly. And that's why
that's an interesting concept. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Because I do believe in it. I've heard some very, very convincing reports of people that have tell their mums that they used to live with somebody else and that they I'm sure it's real. But again, you see, the problem we've got is science won't have it because there's no proof.
I watched a show on I don't know if it's Netflix or Amazon or which one it's on now, but one or the other because everything's on there now. And Eddie was actually watching it. I said, "What are you watching?" And you've been watching this series. And on there, I think I've only watched 1 or 2 of the episodes, and it was about children giving all this information about their old, their basically it could possibly be
who they lived with.
Took
you to the village in India or Africa and took you to the back to the
that type of thing. I find it really interesting.
So do I, and I think it's all part of it. I'm sure of it. I think it's all part of. As I started this, really, with your mind, your personality goes somewhere. It cannot be destroyed, so it has to go on. Energy has to go on. And does it occupy another? Who knows?
That's a whole nother show.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah. Well, honestly, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you to everybody that's interacted and commented and given their opinions and asked their questions. It's very much appreciated. Nobody's getting a discount at Derby Jail. I'm just putting that out there.
Well done.
Just to reiterate, if you'd like one of the signed books, please contact Richard. If you'd like a DVD and a book unsigned, then you can get it from his website. Tomorrow night, he is on at 6 o'clock on his Facebook page, just to remind you to find him there at 6. And when you finish watching Richard at 6 o'clock, you can come over to us at 7 and watch the psychic and spiritual segment. We got 3 readings with the lovely Ellie Charles from Gloucester tomorrow evening. She's given us an hour of her time to do 3 readings for you all. And then at 9 o'clock, we've got the open mic hour with Mr. Gary Fields. And it's your hour, your subject. So we talk about what you want to talk about. And if you want to come on and talk about a specific subject, contact us. And if you want to join him on screen, then you're more than welcome. We can do that for you as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and good night.
Cheers. All the best, guys. Stay safe. Stay at home.